Welcome back to The Grind. Today we're going to talk about some changes that are coming to the game or have already come. First, the multi-event weeks and the new assault event. We'll talk a bit about that, and then we'll also talk about some changes to Atlas and some gear crafting stuff. So first, let's also just briefly chat about the runes. Some of the runes are being adjusted. You can see which ones are being changed and what they're being changed to now. Pretty simple. If you want to go through that, you can see that here. And then next, we're going to talk about the changes to the gear crafting. So they're removing the common gear from the crafting menu or from the drops, and they're adding elite gear now to be able to craft that. For people who don't have Atlas, you don't have to complete the gear lines to get elite gear. So you can craft that now. It'll all be the same drops, except now they're getting rid of the common and adding the elite. So you'll still be getting the same as far as the rate of drop for worst and best, but now the best is elite gear. So that's awesome for those who don't have Atlas or don't have time. And they're adding another type of gear to the Atlas now, the Mythic gear. So that's basically taking the place of Elite gear. Everything was just kind of bumped up one. So those are some good changes, I think, for some players, and for others it's annoying because now they have to get all new sets of gear to have the best stuff. We got a new event called Assault, and it's being introduced now with the breeding event and the multi-event weeks. Where they'll have two events going on at once. Assault, as you can see here, this is the menu. You can go through different levels in each tier, and the bases get sequentially harder as you go down. There's 6. Every 2 bases you complete, you get to a checkpoint. If you are not at that checkpoint before the progress reset occurs, you'll go back to the previous checkpoint. So make sure you get to each checkpoint before you stop, so you don't lose the progress and the work that you put in. These bases do get very tough when you get to 5 and 6 especially. And one thing to make note of, you don't have to complete them all the tiers in order. So if you find that blue or purple is too hard, you don't have the right dragons or they're not leveled up enough, just go to the next tier and see how you do there. So you can continue getting prizes along the way. Now the best prizes are obviously at the end. From this event, it's 100 sigils if you complete the 6th base, as well as 5 gold chests. And if you can do that on a bunch of different tiers, that's a lot of good prizes. So I think it's great to this event is nice. It's not as competitive as far as PvPs typically go, where you have to be on all the time, spending lots of resources to help your team advance. But you get a bunch of nice little prizes along the way. So that's pretty nice to have. It just sucks in one sense for me or other free-to-play players. In breeding event, it's not always relaxing because I spend a lot of time grinding EXP runs, hundreds of EXP runs to get my new dragons to breedable so I can keep breeding more. But it will be nice to have this little extra prize bonus along the way for some extra effort. The only concern I have is if they're doing multi-event weeks and giving more sigil prizes during those weeks, I'm concerned that they're going to increase the amount of sigils required to complete a line in the season. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen, but it is a possibility. There will also be different leaderboards, so you can see how you stack up against others in your guild and others in the game. So that'll be interesting. You can kind of see where you fall and how I guess skilled of a flyer you are, because a lot of these bases do require some significant skill and practice to complete them. And now some changes to the new Atlas season. There's a new rider. You can see Sophia here. And so they are changing it so the riders, you don't have to complete the 2 lines first. They are using the same like tree structure as this last season, except it'll be, I believe, 4 pieces of elite gear per line, and then the mythic branch, instead of being a rider as it was last time, will now be the mythic gear, and you'll get 4 pieces of mythic gear for completing that mythic branch. But it'll be nice to be able to get the riders without having to go through all the gear first. And then some changes to the way ranking goes. You'll get points for conquering castles and holding castles, and every 2 weeks they'll be calculated based on how many castles you have and how much they're worth, and that'll kind of determine ranking. If you want more details on that, you can head to the forums to look at that. Well, I hope this was helpful, and we'll see you next time.